Hey folks, welcome back to another review with yours truly, Sam Healey. Today we're taking a look at this guy right here, Hanamikoji. It is a game that is named after a famous geisha district in Kyoto, Japan. And it is all about gaining the favor of geishas. Now, geishas are not prostitutes, as everybody likes to think. Traditionally, they are artists, and that is actually, if my research has held up correctly, that's what the word geisha actually translates into, is the word artist. They were performers. They were through rigorous training to be entertainers, hostesses, and that type of thing. So this is not a weird theme here. This is actually a cool, traditionally Japanese theme that's going on here. And let's get down to the table. We'll see how it plays. In Hanamikoji, you're going to be getting 7 geisha cards, and you're also going to be getting 21 item cards, which are the items that each of the different geishas are going to be using in their entertainment. And the distribution of how many item cards are in the deck is the number of each geisha. So there are 2 purple items, there are 2 yellow items, there are 2 red items, and so forth and so on until you get all the way up to here. There are 5 pink items. And what you will do is you'll first of all shuffle the deck and then remove one randomly, just so that there is a level of variability there. And then 6 cards are dealt to each player. In Hanamikoji, you're trying to either win the favor of 4 geishas or win enough favor with the geishas to score 11 or more charm points. So what that basically means is that if I have the most green item cards by the green geisha, then I have won her favor, which gives me 1 towards the 4 that are needed, or 4 charm points. So if I win the favor of just these 3 geishas, then I have 12 charm points, and that is a winning condition. On the other hand, if I win the favor of these 4, I don't have enough charm points. That's only 5, 7, 9, but I have won the favor of 4 of them, so that is also a winning condition. In the case where one person gains the favor of 4 geishas and the other person gains 11 or more charm points, the charm points trump the number of geishas won. So each round consists of each player taking these 4 turns in successive order. So whoever goes first will do one of these 4 actions, then the other player will do one of them, and then the first player will do another, and so forth and so on, and they will alternate turns until both have completed all 4 of these actions. Now these actions are very simple. This one simply means you take a card from your hand and place it face down, and it will be scored at the end of the round. This one is very similar, except that you take 2 cards from your hand and place them face down underneath it, and they will not be scored at the end of the turn. Number 3 here simply says that you take 3 cards from your hand, place them face down on the table, your opponent chooses one and gives you the other, and you place them on the geishas that they belong to. The 4th one is where you take 4 cards from your hand, place them in 2 different groups, and then your opponent chooses one and you take the other and place them in the respective geisha spots. The first thing that you'll do on your turn is draw a card and add it to your hand. And then you're going to choose one of the 4 actions that you'll take part in this turn. For example, with this hand, I might use the 3rd action here, which is where I'm going to lay 3 cards face up on my side of the table. My opponent will choose one and place it next to the corresponding geisha, and then I will take the other 2 and do the same thing. On my opponent's turn, they will draw a card and add it to their hand. And then they will choose to do one of the actions. They'll choose action 4, which is choosing 2 sets of cards to go face up. I will choose one. I'll choose the ones that will lock in that number 5 for me, and then my opponent will choose the other 2. And then once each player has gone through all 4 of their actions, this is what the game board will look similar to. Of course, variations will be had. Then the last, the card that each player saved to be scored last will be played. And now the victory tokens are awarded to the player who has the most item tokens by each geisha, like so. If there is a tie, the victory token stays in the middle, no favor having been won. My opponent has won the favor of 1, 2, 3, 4 geishas, which is a winning condition. Additionally, they have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 charm points, which isn't meeting that requirement, but they don't have to since they already won the 4 geishas. That is a victory condition. On the other hand, I scored 5 charm points here and 3 here, which is 8, which means that I actually did not meet any of the winning conditions. So in this case, my opponent has won the game in just one round. Now, if neither of us were able to meet any of the victory conditions, the victory tokens would stay where they are, and all of the cards would come back up, including the one that we set aside earlier, and they would all be shuffled back in together, and another round would happen, and we would check to see if somebody run after that round. If they did, they're the winner. If not, we go into another round. And we continue doing that until someone has met one of the 2 victory conditions. So I stumbled across this game in a rather strange fashion. I was just scrolling through my Facebook feed one night and saw that one of my Facebook friends had this, and was showing off the artwork for the pictures of the cards and everything like that. And I thought, wow, that's really good art. I like that. It's very appealing. It catches your eye. It's very colorful. And so it just kind of stuck with me. About a day, maybe 2 later, I was at Dice Tower headquarters rummaging through our games to review, and lo and behold, there it was. So I snagged it, and I took it with us up to Connecticut last week as we went to the Portal Game Shot. And I actually ended up playing this game like 7 or 8 times over the course of the weekend. Of course, I was teaching it to a bunch of new people, and it really just kind of took me by surprise. Normally, this is not really my cup of tea, but this one has really garnered my attention because of its simplicity and its depth. Usually those two don't really go hand in hand, at least from my experience. But here, they really, really do. First of all, the decisions that you have to make are excruciating. The way Z put it when I was teaching him is that I feel like I'm being set up every single turn for something bigger. Like your opponent has this grand scheme, and you are simply playing into that scheme. It has a very similar feel with Onitama, where every move you make, you literally are giving the person that you're playing the tools that they possibly could use to win. This is a very similar feel. That I pick, you choose mechanic that is on 2 of the 4 actions that you can carry out through the course of your round are very excruciating because you have no idea what's in your opponent's hand. You might be giving them the chance to win this geisha or that one, and you're trying to go after the same ones. And so it is a 2-player game that is still very light, very fun, very fast-paced, but it still has a great amount of tension and an incredible amount of depth for what is in the box. And so because of that, I'm giving Hanamikoji 2 huge thumbs way up, because this is a game that I know I can play with my wife and I know I can play in between games at a game night. I can play with my children. They'll be able to pick it up pretty quickly, and yet on all of those different levels, there is this great level of depth that just seems to be lurking. And discarding just one card out of that 21 card deck really throws things into a loop, because you think you might have enough cards for that 4 or that 5 to win, but you might not. So it really depends upon each game, how it plays out, and that's one of the things I really like about it. Each game plays just slightly differently than the next, and that is one of the real cool things about it. So that is Hanamikoji, and we'll see you guys on the flip side.